Hi, today I want to share with you how to use student completion in Schoology. This is a great feature that can allow you to create units of study for students, or even just one class period activity, or anything that would allow students to work through material and content independently, but to your specifications. So in this particular make-believe unit that I've created, I want my students to watch a video, post a reply to that video, submit a plan for their project. So in my mind, I'm imagining that this is an introduction to a much bigger concept, and then read an article that's potentially related to the subject. So let's look at the settings, and then I'm going to demonstrate how you can view student progress. And from there, I'm going to demonstrate how to add another task to the completion unit. So if I look at my options and I click on student completion, I see that I've got it all set up here. Now I have intentionally checked requirements must be completed in sequential order. Just note that I am the one who put in the 1, 2, 3, 4. It does not do that for you automatically. I actually made that part of the assignment when I was adding them. However, I thought it was neat to make them in sequential order because I wanted to control what students saw or did and in what order. And for each kind of item, I have different options. So obviously for a YouTube video, the only real option there is to view the item. But I added this discussion board as a secondary, and I want them to do more than view. I want them to post a comment or reply in order for it to be considered complete. For the assignment, I wanted them to have to make a submission in order for it to be complete. But I could also include a scoring option there. So it could be an assessment, or it could be that it's an assignment that I'm going to grade, and they have to score at least, let's say, a 90%, or whatever would be that benchmark to say, yes, you've mastered it and we can move on. This is a link to an article, so the best I could do there is to have them view the article. If I needed to assess whether or not they had read the article or had understood the concepts, I might add something else after that. So that's kind of how these are set up. Now let's look at student progress. So I'm looking at my students. I've got one student here who's done 50%. I've got one student who, as of now, has done everything. And I've got one student who has done 75%. So if I click on Joanna and I want to actually see exactly what she's done, it'll show me which items are complete and which one is in progress. I can even drop down and check on other students. So this is especially useful, like right in the class period. If this were happening while you were sitting with your students, you would be able to see kind of, okay, where is everybody? And then, be able to go student to check on them. So I'm going to, we're going to leave this at Leslie, noting that she's at 50% here at this moment in time. I am going to pause my video for a moment and come back and show you some updates. Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to check on student progress again because I happen to know that one of my students just completed something extra here. So notice that it does update in real time there. So I want to show you now how to add something to a completion unit. So I like to hover and pick exactly where my item is going to go by using that little green line there, but I happen to want it to go at the end in this case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in this imagined scenario, think that students are going to be submitting a draft of something. So I'm simply just going to add a fifth item. Notice I typed in 5 there for organizational purposes. And I'm just asking them to submit something. So create. But once the item is created, I go up to my options here for student completion, and now I can add a requirement. Again, this is a requirement that students must complete in order to have, submitted or completed the entire thing. So I'm adding my number 5, and in order for it to be complete, in this case, it is something I'm going to ask them to submit to me. So I'm going to say make a submission and save the changes. And now I've got that extra little piece there. Students must make a submission for this to be complete. And if I check my student progress, those numbers now, percentages have gone down because if they've only completed, in this case, 4 of the 5 items, they're 80% done. So this is a really great tool, something I hope you enjoy exploring, can add a lot of independence. And as we transition more and more into project-based learning, these are great ways to help students stay on target with a project by breaking it down and chunking up the requirements for them in such a manner. So hopefully you find this helpful. Have a great week, everyone.